Hello, everyone. So congratulations to most of you for completing the Microsoft Word final exam so that you're done with now 2 exams in this class. There are 3 modules to go: Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. Today I'm going to give you a little overview on Microsoft Excel and just demonstrate a few things. It's easier to learn by doing, so I'll kind of demonstrate some of the functionality in Excel, and I'll probably do another video on Excel in the next couple days to give you maybe an example of things that are a little bit more fun but also a little harder to work. Like, as an example, how many of you want to buy a new car or buy a used car to finance something? So I'll do like a car payment type program in Excel, and maybe also to help you understand how you can use what we call if logic to convert numeric grades into letter grades. Just, it's not one of those things that I do all the time in all my classes. But in any event, for this one, it's just a simple overview. I'll just demonstrate how Excel works, create a little chart. Mainly, you just do a few calculations, and that'll be about it. Alrighty, so let me start sharing my screen. Okay, here I am. All right, so now I'm going to go over here, come back to this page just so we can make it a little bit cleaner to look at. All right, so that. All right, so I'm going to open up Excel. Okay, so Excel. Mine's Excel 365. I want a blank workbook. Okay, all right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want all of these things that I'm clicking on, they're called cells. Okay, and so that you can see what I do end up typing a little bit, in a few minutes, so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to make the cells be a little bit larger than font size 11. Okay, so this is an Excel worksheet. All right, and you can have many Excel sheets. I can click this plus sign and then I'll have sheet 2. Then I can click it again, have sheet 3. I can have dozens of sheets in one workbook. Really, this is actually called a workbook, but the workbook is comprised of a bunch of worksheets, and those worksheets can work together. But for this demonstration video anyway, I'm not going to get into that kind of stuff. I'll just so I'm going to show you what the select all is. If I click to the left of this letter A and above this number 1, everything on this sheet will be selected. Watch. Okay, so that's like the old-fashioned edit select all. And by having every cell selected, now I can make the cells larger. So I'll just say I want them size 20. And you'll notice that these cells will get bigger. Okay, hopefully you notice that anyway. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the ribbon for Excel, some of the things you're going to be doing, and then we'll also figure out some of the things that I want to show you for today. So the clipboard is more or less the same as it is with Word in terms of having to copy, the paste, things like that. But if you click the down arrow on the clipboard to open up more features, then you see a little more stuff. But that's good enough for this thing here. The font group also has a little drop down arrow, and if you click the drop down arrow, it'll tell you some things you can add to it. But it's, again, similar to Word, with the exception that you can have these things here for what we call borders, because every one of these things as I click, that's a cell. Okay, and I'm going to talk about these letters up here and these numbers down here in a few moments. All right, so anyway, but it's pretty well the same. In terms of the way the ribbon looks, it is the same. It's just some things work differently. In the alignment group, these things here are like positions within a cell. So like if I had a small font and I wanted to show you a top left align, I can just click this thing here with whatever I type in it. But it's suffice to say, you understand that it's either the bottom, in terms of the align, it's the middle or center align, and it's the top or the top left line. But just so top, middle, and bottom. Okay, and this thing here is pretty cool. It's an orientation. You can make the text that you write or that you type in Excel, you can have it go at like a 45-degree angle. And maybe I'll show that with one or two of the things that I do in this little demonstration. Wrap text is if you have some text you're writing that goes over, let's say, through 2 or 3, what we call, again, cells, and you want to wrap that content within one cell, you can do that with the wrap text. Okay. Merge and center is the same thing. In this case, though, you may have like words that take up that much space there. And then instead of having a D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K, 1, you could then merge all them and then it'd just be D1. And D1 would go all the way to wherever I just was. Okay. Over here is the most important one in terms of Excel for most things, because these are number features. And everything for the most part, a lot of things we do in Excel are based on numbers. You know, this thing over here on the left is called the accounting format. Basically, just puts a $sign and it adds 2 decimal places to any number you type. Okay. This one here is a percent style, so it'll add the percent mark to you, and it also does the calculations like based on what you're doing with a percentage, like 2.34%, that kind of thing. This comma style here is the same as the accounting, but instead of the $sign, but everything else stays. You still get the 2 decimal places. You get commas when you're into thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of numbers. And over here, you can either increase the number of decimal places showing or take away the number of decimals showing. Okay. Over here, we put some conditional formatting. Conditional formatting allows you to do, if you have a rule, like I have a rule in your grade book in Blackboard. You don't know this, but I have it, where anybody's grades that are less than a 70% are in red. That way, every time I see your name, if you have something in red, then you know, red font is what it shows up as in my Blackboard gradebook. You can insert, you can delete, you can format. We're not going to worry too much about those things. But over here in the editing group is also something very important, the AutoSum. This is how you do a lot of calculations, okay? And then this is just a sort and filter. This is if you're looking to find something. And over here, when you get to module 3 or 4, there might be a little bit of analyzed data. If there is, then I'll give you a demonstration on it. All right, so that's basically it. So let's now talk about the cell I'm in, right here. I'm in cell J2. You notice that above this cell, there's a letter and it's called J, okay? And it's sort of got a green border on the bottom, and you can tell that it's selected, right? It looks a little darker gray than the K and the I. But anyway, so that I'm in J here, and then over here you see the 2. On this side, it's the right side has that green border, and it's also a little bit darker gray than the number 1 and the number 3. Now what it means is I'm in cell J2, and also over here, this is called the name box. And name box tells me I'm in cell J2. It's very important to understand cells, because what we mainly use Excel for is to do calculations, okay? So all these cells here can all have numbers in them, and then all them numbers we can do calculations with, all right? Very, very good. So that's basically the home tab. On the insert tab, I'll just kind of talk about some things we will be doing in the class. You'll be inserting insert tables. You can insert tables if we want. I don't remember what the program ends up calling for, but if we want it, basically we can we can input or copy and embed anything from Word, anything from like slides from PowerPoint into Excel if we want to. We can insert pictures, obviously, shapes, smart art. So all these things we can do. Recommended charts are a huge part, so I'll definitely be demonstrating this today in addition to this on the home tab, the AutoSum that I talked about. I'll be demonstrating that today as well, okay? So charts, very important. Pivot tables are good for advanced Excel. In this class, you may touch on it in Module 4, so I'll demonstrate a few from the Module 4 trainings on that particular topic. And so that's about all that we're going to need to know on the insert. Page layout, you know, it's similar to Word. You know, you do have your themes, you have your colors, you have your margins, you have your orientation. You don't have, actually you do from the File tab in Word, but here on the page layout, you do have the orientation as well. Formulas are a huge, absolutely huge thing in Excel. When I click this one here, you're going to see lots of formulas. Okay, so if as an example, I click the down arrow next to AutoSum, it lists the functions that you can use by if you click that down arrow. Sum is the sum, or like adding up, if you will. So the sum of 1, 2, and 3 is 6, as an example. The average of 1, 2, and 3 is 6 divided by 3, so that would give 2. Count of numbers, if you have 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3, the count of numbers would be 3. If you have 3 numbers in a row and it's called, and one is 1, one is 2, one is 3, the max would be 3. The min would be 1. Okay, so let's demonstrate that right now. Let's show this. So I'm going to type right here. Let me actually hit the Home tab again. I'm on Home tab. I'm way over. So A1, B1, C2, D3, E4. I'm just showing you where I'm clicking. So E4, again, it's up here, right? I'm going to put this starting in D2, and I'm going to say AutoSum calculation examples. Okay. All right. So, and then I'm going to put to the left here. Let me just think of what I want to do. I want to, first of all, put in some numbers, and then the AutoSum will do those numbers. So I'm going to put in over here in A, I'll just say num1. Enter. Let's see, number 1. No, I'll just throw in numbers. All right. I'll just throw in numbers. So right here, I shall say 13. And here I'll say 16, and here I'll say 22, and here I'll say 33. That's enough numbers for that one. Then over here, I'll say 15, and here I'll say 8, and here I'll say 11, and here I'll say 13 again. Okay. Now, so that's 2 numbers going that way, and let's have one more set with some numbers. So 10, 5, 8, 9. And that's it. All right. So I've got these numbers right here. Okay. Now, with AutoSum, I can get the total of all these numbers in a sum down here in literally 1 second. Well, say 3 seconds. Anyway, I can do that literally. Where for me to add it up, what I got to do? Well, let's say 33, 55, 65, 71, 84. Some of you may be faster than that. Some may be a little slower than that. But, you know, it takes a bit of time, right? 13 and 16 is 29, 29 and 20 is 49, 2 is 51, 51 and 30 is 81, and 3 is 84. Right? 15 and 8 is 23, and 11 is 34, and 13 is 47. 10, 15, 23, 32. Well, watch this now. If I want to get this sum of numbers, if I go under here, okay, and I come over to my Home tab, actually I can just do it from the AutoSum here. So I can click AutoSum and click Sum, and just watch right here in A7. This is cell A7 right here. It's going to say 55, 65, 71, 84. Right when I hit this click on Sum, it's going to say 84. Well, first it'll tell me you're doing a formula called equal sum A3 to A6. Do you want to continue? And if I say yes by entering, then it'll show 84. Okay, see 84. Then the really cool thing in Excel is, so you can see the formula up here in the, what we call the formula bar. Okay, so equal sum A3 to A6. So in Excel, everything you do, if it's going to be a calculation, is based on using the equal sign. Everything has to start with the equal sign. Okay, so when it starts with equal sum, what it's saying is I'm going to be adding up whatever numbers I then put within the open and closed parentheses. So equal sum A3 to A6 is what this means, which means I want to get in this sum A3 plus A4 plus A5 to A6, which means A3 to A6. Okay, even though it's written as a colon, it's like A3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6, but the colon means through, so like A3 through A6. If I had a whole bunch more numbers going way down, I could still have one sum to get all them numbers if I wanted. All right, so that's 84. let's do that again. We'll delete that, and then we'll go ahead and just do it again. All right. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now you can also manually do an equal. You can say equal, okay, and then I can just point and click. So point means, you know, like put your cursor in this cell. So A3, point, and then click. That just means click it. So now it's saying equal A3. If I drag it, it'll now be A3 to A4. If I drag it again, it'll be A3 to A5. Drag it again, it'll be A3 to A6. Okay, and then if I enter, oops, get that thing that copied, which is fine, but you know, so in here, if I go in here, actually, so either way, I have to do my equal sum of some sort. So equal sum, and if I copy these cell numbers and then close that, it will give me the total of 84. You can also, though, do it many other ways. So again, delete. We can also say equal sum. So equal sum. And then I can type A3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6, okay, and close parentheses, and that'll also give me to 84, okay. So AutoSum does it from, if you're in the formulas tab, it does it from right here. If you're at the home tab, it does it from over here on the right, where I'm hovering, AutoSum, okay. So anyway, that's what it can do. Now, it's got this thing, though, every time you're in a cell. So right now I'm in cell D6. The bottom right corner of D6, cell D6, has a little green, darker green than the rest of the green, and it looks like it's sort of separated from the cell itself right down here. And when I hover on top of it, this cursor will turn to a thin black plus sign right there. Okay, so that is called the fill handle, not the thin black plus sign, but what I'm hovering on, which is, I can't point because you know, my cursor will then go to it, but just to the bottom right of where I'm at right there, just to here to the lower and to the right in that little corner is the fill handle. So obviously this is the regular cursor, the hollow white plus sign. Then if you're on top of anything where you can resize it, that's the resize handles. But the fill handle is very important. So if I click the fill handle on number 84, which is right there, and I drag it 2 times to the left, then what it'll do is copy the formula. This formula is equal sum, A3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6, and it'll then copy it for these 4 numbers and for these 4 numbers. So then this cell will have 23, 34, 47. So 47 will be here, and here it'll have 15, 23, 32. So 47 and 32, watch. Take the fill handle. You're not on the fill handle until you get that thin black plus sign. Then you click and drag. Still got to be clicking as you're dragging. So that one's going to be 47. And this one we said is going to be 15, 23, 32. Okay, so there's 47 and there's 32. See? So I did one formula, and then this one copied it, but it didn't copy these numbers because the fill handle is smart. It's saying, well, this particular answer is based on the 4 numbers above it. So in this case, it's going to take any number of numbers above it, any number that happened to be there. It just happens at this point that B3, 4, 5, and 6. But you see here, remember it said A3, A4, A5, A6, because this is column A, and these are row numbers. So A3, A4, A5, and A6. But the way you call them is the way you see it in the name box. So this one here, the first one I clicked on is A1, A2, A3, down to A7, okay? And since A7 was a formula, this is, again, is the formula bar. When I click the fill handle right here, it's copying the formula, but it's not copying it for cell, for column A. It's copying it for column B in the second one, and then for column C in the third one. So that's why these numbers are different, because just add them up. 10 and 5 is 15, 15 and 8 is 23, 23 and 9 is 32. So the sum of C3 plus C4 plus C5 plus C6 is 32. Okay, just to let you know, I do not like that style. I think that's a horrible style. So I'm going to delete those numbers again. This is the way I would tell you to do it. All right, if you're doing it manually, do it this way. Equal sum, open parentheses, and then click in A3 and drag to A6, and then close the parentheses. You're going to get the same answer, 84, but see now instead of A3 plus, A4 plus, A5 plus, A6, that looks, sort of cheesy, I'll just say, is a term you guys may use for certain things. But basically, it's not professional. If you had, let's say you had 20 numbers, going way down here, let's see. Look, I'm literally on row 132, by the way, right there. So I've selected about 130 or so rows. So that means if I had all them with a plus, I'd be saying let's say 3 plus A4 plus A5 plus A6 plus A7 plus A8 plus A9, all the way down to plus A132 if I wanted to put the total in A133. Now that's crazy. That's crazy, especially when you can just do it with this thing here, the AutoSum. Okay, so that way. So, but I did it still not quite. I mean, I'm making it like AutoSum, but I didn't do it that way because I typed again equal sum, open parentheses, and then I just clicked and dragged, and then I closed the parentheses. Okay, so again, delete it. Even easier, yes, come here and again go to the AutoSum over here on the right side of the editing group if you're in the Home tab. Otherwise, in the Formulas tab, the down arrow next to AutoSum, and just click Sum. And when you do Sum, it asks you. It's basically typing what I just did, but it did it for me instead of me doing it. And it just wants me to verify it. This thing is called a rolling marquee, and that's just sitting there for me to verify. It's basically asking me a question. Is this what the numbers you want to sum? And I look and I say, let's see, yeah, that's what I want to sum. And once I hit enter, then it sums the very same way I did manually, but AutoSum does automatically, okay? Now for this one, again, I can just take the fill handle, right? This lower right corner of any square, any cell, this cell, this cell, this cell. And by the way, if you're having 2 or 3 cells, that's still one fill handle right down there, okay? But anyway, so remember, I can do it and then copy it to this cell. And if I drag again, as long as I've got my cursor down on my left mouse button, then it's going to do it for each of them, okay? So that's one. So let's delete them again. You can also, in this AutoSum, do the average. So what's the average of these 4 numbers? Well, let's see. 33 and 22 is 55. 55, 65. 71 and 13 is 84. 84 divided by 4 is 21. Watch here. I shall click AutoSum and average. It says, do you want the average of the cells A3 to 86? I say, yeah, that's what I want. And it's 21. See? 21. Okay. If I want the max, I go AutoSum. What's the max? Max is the highest number, which is 33. So when I enter here, it's going to tell me, it's going to list 83. Okay. And what's the formula? It's equal max. Everything's equal, remember. And then open. You always have an open and a closing parenthesis, always. A3 to A6. And it just means, what is the highest number out of these 4? Okay, that's what that means. Then there's obviously an equal min. So now if I click on the min, same thing. So now it's going to pick the 13, which is cell A3, but it'll be written as 13. Okay? So this one says in the formula bar, remember the formula bar is where it tells everything. This formula says equal min means minimum, and then open parentheses A3 to A6, close parentheses, means I want to know the lowest number out of all this. You may say, well, it's obvious. Yeah, it's obvious. But again, go way down like I was just saying before. Let me just go down to, so this time I'm on cell 63. So, but pretend they're all a bunch of numbers. And some maybe into hundreds or the thousands or whatever. And you want to know the minimum. Wow, that's a lot of work, right? Well, if you had those numbers way down to here, let's say pretend that we stopped at 72, then you'd go to cell 73, and in 73 you just go AutoSum, down arrow, click on min, and in 1 second it'll tell you the lowest number out of all them 72 numbers. Okay, same with, it'll average them all, it'll count them, it'll max them if you want, and then there's more. Okay, so now let's go back up here and again, so 13 is the minimum. All right, I already demonstrated the max. Now let's do the count. All right, so go in AutoSum, count. Just what it's doing is it's counting how many numbers are there. So it's going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer here will be 4. Okay. So 4. And if I want the count function for this one and this one, same thing. Remember, I just copied over. So in this case, it will be the same number though. Why? Because there are 4 numbers here, there are 4 numbers here, and there were 4 numbers here. Okay. If I want to do the minimum of all of them, or the average, let's say, of all of them, I can do it this way. And now go here and make them all average. Okay. Whoops. I went too far. Oh, it was going the other way. I want this. Okay. And I go down, I want the average of those. Oh, okay. No, what it's doing is it's going now left to right based on what I've done in there. So when you select them all, then you can't do it. So just do them one at a time. So if you want the average of here again, remember, just average, it'll verify and say, yep, so that's 21. The average of this, which now we have an extra number, by the way, because I'm using, no, I didn't, sorry, I'm going to change that. So the average of these, let's see, 23, 34, 47. So it's less than 12. It's going to be 11.75. Watch this. 11.75 will be this answer. AutoSum average. Yes. Now it says 12, but I'm glad this happened too, because it's really 11.75. See, I just spread this out to make it wider. So here it shows 12, but you make things wider by going between the letters up top. And then if you drag to the right with your clicker, your left mouse clicker, then it makes it wider. But you can also auto do it by just double clicking between these two, and then whichever cell has the widest number, it will automatically widen to accommodate that. All right. All right. So that's an average. And then over here we want the average as well, let's say. So average. 15, 23, 32, and 4 is 36. So 4 9s are 36. So it's 9. Oops, wait. 1. Oh, I got 5 now. Oh, I didn't mean to do it there. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm doing it every time I'm doing things there. Okay. All right. So here, 15, 23, 32. 15, 23, 32. So 4 8s are 32. So it'll be 8. Average 8. Okay. So that's basically some of these things you can do with Excel. Now, let's do it with just putting numbers on a chart now. But I want to have, instead of numbers, I actually want to put something else now. I'm going to say January. Let's see. What do I want to put? If I put January, February, March, April, and then I put, yeah, all right. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to type January. Okay. Make this cell wider. Okay. Now, watch this. I'm going to delete all this. Okay. So now I want to make this cell here have February, this one have March, this have April, and this one have May without me doing any typing. Okay, watch this. January, fill handle, drag, that's now February. That's March, that's April, that's May. Pretty darn cool, huh? So Excel is not meant for typing. So what it does type, it lets, it does a lot of it in an automated way. Why? Well, how do people use spreadsheets? Excel is a spreadsheet application. They use spreadsheet for like monthly data or daily data. So like I could have Monday. Okay. If I type Monday and then go back to the cell that I typed it in, same way, if I want to make that go to the next one, that'll be Tuesday. So let's go all the way to Sunday. See, that's Monday through Sunday, all done. Watch this. I can also do this and go down forever. Watch. I'm now in cell 574, and it just listed, so 574 divided by 7, it means how many number of weeks, and that's about 80 weeks worth of data, not data, but names. And if you notice, Sunday through Saturday, Sunday through Saturday. It may look like hogwash, but it's whatever the order was as I was doing it. So whatever whatever day I typed first, it then goes to the last day, the one before that one, and then starts over again and again. Okay. So that's all that. Let's undo that one. Okay. All right. So very easy to do stuff like that. All right. Now, but I want to put in now something and do a chart, and then I'm going to end this particular little demonstration. All right. So I'm going to delete this one, and I'm doing that on purpose. And then I want some big numbers over here. Okay, so this I'm now going to say is 8,500. It's not really that big, I guess. Then I'll say 10,200. Then I'll say 79,85. Then I'll say 15,425. and then I shall say 11,569. Okay, so I have 5 months, and I have 5 months worth of sales. So here I'm going to type month, right? Because I should have a caption saying what they are, month, and then here I'll say sales. All right, I'm just pretending. All right, so now I want this to go to a chart. This to go to a chart. Watch this. So insert a chart. Which chart do you want? I happen to like column charts, but some people like pie charts, so it doesn't matter. But pick one, and you can look around at others. But I'm going to do a 3D column. So this is 3D column, and as I hover on it, see, it shows you. You can't see all of it because there's things that are popping up. But you see in the chart that's looking there, it's showing us 16,000, 14,000, 12,000 down to 0. And so what it does is it just makes the numbers showing at the very top higher than the highest number I have. And the other ones, they'll normally start at 0 if it'll fit in the chart window. Okay. So, but that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is this. So if I want that stuff to actually come out as a chart though, so I select these cells. How do you select? You click in this case, A2 and drag. Click and drag, holding the mouse down, okay? And then you hold your control key, not your shift key, because I'm not counting column B. So hold my control key, click in C2 and drag down to C7. They have to start at the same point and end at the same point. You might say this sales is not selected. Why? Well, the last one you click when you're doing a select all with a drag, that one will stay not looking like it. But if you see, it's got like that greenish background. And so it is selected and it is included. So I did this. I clicked here and dragged down to there. See, now month looks like sales did a minute ago, but month is included. You see that green border around it. But I have to then hold my control key, click in C2, and then drag down to C7. And now I want to insert that as a chart. So I go insert, and I come over to my charts, and I want that column chart that I just pictured or showed, and I'm just going to click 3D column. Okay, boom. And then, oops, boom, what happened? What happened? What happened? What the heck? Insert, chart, 3D column. Weird. Anyway, so it didn't take, but you notice, so look, it's got sales based on this word here, and it's got months. It doesn't put month because it knows these words are months, so it puts all the months. Okay, so January had 8,500 in sales. That comes out to just about this number right here. February has 10,200, comes out to just about this number. March has 7985, comes out to this number. But I can also make it though where these numbers appear on the chart. So I come over here, I click my plus sign, and I say I want the data labels. See right here, data labels, and you see those numbers are popping up above them, right? So now you see 8,500 is January, 10,200 is February. So all this just that way, okay? And if I don't want the chart here, if I want it in a new sheet, I can click my move chart. So click move chart, and I want to call it a new sheet, and they're recommending it be called chart 1. I'll just say chart. I'll say sales chart actually. So sales chart, okay? And once I say okay, down here where it says sheet 1, there will be a new sheet, and it's going to be called sales chart, and this chart is going to be there. Okay? See, we're now on a sheet called sales chart, and it put that chart. It even made it bigger. I don't really like it big actually. So, but you can then resize it, do whatever you want to do with it if you want to. If you want to. Well, we'll do that another time. But either way, point being, so that's how easy it is to create a chart. You can then obviously go in and edit things. You can edit things all you want to on it. You can actually click the whole chart here and then go in and do whatever you want. If you want to remove something, or if you want to add something like a legend, you can do that. You click here, and then you just click to see what you want. So legend means you're typing something that you want people to see. So if I type something and I want to show it as, you see where sales is, okay? And then now it's on the bottom. the left, but by default, it's on the top. If I get away from it, it's gone again, but that's where it was. And I can then format it, whatever. Okay, so that is it for today. And I will play this video tomorrow and we'll talk about it then. Have a great night and I shall see you in class tomorrow. All right, so now let me get back to here, stop my recording.